What's going on, everybody? My name is C4. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're a brand new Madden 26 realistic rebuild. Moved the webcam around, did a off-season live stream for the Yetis. People said top right is where we should maybe try them. I'm like, all right, you know what? I get it. A lot of things get blocked when the webcam's in the bottom left, even though that's kind of like the traditional. We're going to try top right. Feedback, let me know. Today, we got a couple fun teams this week. You know, we still have, and I'm rebuilding all 32 teams. We still have some bad teams like that need real builds, but I think we're now entering the spot where like teams that you don't really think need a rebuild they're done. Like I think right now I have Kansas City and Cincinnati, two really good teams that need a realistic rebuild, and both their seasons pretty much ended in week 14. The Chiefs got a rude awakening to the Houston Texans' great defense. Fortunately, Kelce looked pretty washed. Mahomes had 3 picks on the day. Some were his fault, some were not his fault. The wheels are falling off, man. Do I want to gloat that some team might have cost the Chiefs their final shot of this dynasty at a Super Bowl? You know what? I can understand where you guys are going for. Even though the Eagles have a better record and we're first place and we still have a chance at the 1 seed in the NFC, it's been a disappointing year for the expectations, the very high expectations I've had as an Eagle fan. It's not been the funnest season, so I can relate to the Kansas City Chiefs, two absolute juggernauts and titans of their conferences. Things have not been going well. I think a big issue for the Chiefs as well in this rebuild, it's going to make this rebuild difficult because you think Kansas City is a pretty good playbook. Obviously, we have a very good roster. The salary cap situation, even before we go look at our roster, I just wanted to get who's a free agent this year. We are $29 million in the red. And assuming we weren't, assuming we had money, like Leo Chenal would be an easy top priority re-sign. I think you could maybe even make the argument for Isaiah Pacheco. Brian Cook would be an easy re-sign. If Jalen Watson still has a decent upside, he could be a re-sign. We have Derek Nottie on a depth chart. We have Travis Kelce, who I think it'd probably, for the sake of this rebuild, it'd be easy if he just retires so we don't have to watch him go to another team, because no chance at re-signing, and it would be very weird to watch him play somewhere else. Hell, even a reset punter would probably get a contract. 29 in the red. Yeah, this is going to be a tough rebuild. Luckily we have a system and scheme that should be easy, but we are going to have to replenish this very good roster. When you look at the offense, the O-line, it's better in Madden than it is in real life. Like Smith and Humphrey, Simmons looks like a special player. Like, that was an absolute steal. Simmons was my top tackle in last year's class, had the injury concerns, but it was like, if your team gave him a thumbs up on the medical, which, as someone that just talks about the draft as a casual on the internet, don't have access to the medical files, but assuming he was healthy, he's my number 1 tackle. But we didn't know if he was healthy or not. And, there's been some weird things that went on. He missed a couple games here or there, but when he's on the field, he looks like a very special player. So I feel pretty bullish about this offensive line for the Chiefs, which is always great when you can start a rebuild and I don't have to pencil down that we're going to have to use top draft priority and draft capital to replace the offensive line. Those are not the most exciting picks, but it also seems pretty clear that Kelce, end of an era, one of the greatest tight ends in NFL history. Not to be a hot take guy, but I'm always going to be more partial to Gronk, but if you say Travis Kelce the best all time, there's an argument to be had, and I think and hope just in this situation that, he just rides off in the sunset this season. We obviously have Patrick Mahomes, who's going to be our quarterback for the whole rebuild. The running back room gets a little interesting. We're going to have some turnover. Hunt and Pacheco are going to be gone. Brashard Smith could develop into a guy, man. This guy has a very fun skill set. He's kind of like that Tony Pollard, played wide receiver, played a little bit of running back, has great speed. He's a guy that if we can develop a little bit, you give 93 speed, 93 acceleration, 87 carry an opportunity, there could be something there. The wide receiver room, we have Rashee Rice. I'm not the biggest fan, obviously. A lot of stuff going on there. We have Xavier Worley. We have an interesting wide receiver room because, Rice, you got to pay him at some point. Very dangerous playmaker. Xavier Worley, height, weight, speed. Well, more so just speed on full display. He's been solid, but he's kind of been a little one-dimensional. It'd be cool in this rebuild if he can step up. We're going to need these guys to step up, assuming that Kelce's going to be gone. We're going to be losing that production. So we're going to need, ideally, Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice to kind of develop into 1,000-yard players. Defensively, Losing Leo Chanel is going to suck, man. That is a guy for sure. Homegrown talent, was an obvious pick. He was literally a top-tier, S-tier athlete that the league just like, nah, actually, I don't think we want the guy that's like 250 pounds and runs like a 4.3. And I don't know what round he fell to the Chiefs in, like third or fourth round or something like that. He's been awesome. But we've already got, like, Nick Bolton got his contract. I think Drew Tranquil got a contract. So that's, that decision's kind of been forced for us. The safety room, Shamari Connor and Brian Cook are solid. But again, salary cap issues. We got Trent McDuffie, one of the best corners in the league. I think, we're going to lose Watson, but that's just going to be an opportunity here for Noel Williams, the dev trade rookie from Cal, to get an opportunity to maybe be a starter for us next season. Actually, let's kind of push him up the depth chart here a little bit, see if we can help that rating. Same thing on the defense. We had like Mike Dana, but I think we got to go with our dev trade, get these guys on the field. So Gelati from Louisville, 74 with a dev trade. He's going to get out there. We have Chris Jones, Stone Cold Jones, Norman Lott, the rookie from Tennessee. We have Karlaftis. Does he have a contract yet? I don't think. But maybe? Okay, they did pay him. Okay. So that's, in itself, that's an interesting challenge. A lot of the big financial decisions, a lot of the roster management, when you start a Chiefs rebuild, has already been decided for you. These contracts have already been handed out, so you got to kind of work off of the deals that they have, and clearly with their on-field success and lack thereof this year, maybe not the best period for the general manager there in Kansas City. So we're going to have to deal with that. But I think clicking on this video, expectations within the next 5 years, using our realistic 2026 and 2027 draft classes, that we will get a Super Bowl, maybe even a couple Super Bowls with the Kansas City Chiefs. But from a roster management standpoint, this could be very difficult. We can't even beat the Titans in Sim? What? All right, so the Chiefs, at least we win one of the games. I'm very concerned. Like, there's no, I'm just going to force losses or anything like that to ensure that we get the best pick possible, right? We used to start the day, and we inherited, obviously we lost to the Texans. So outside of that, but the fact that, from a sim standpoint, this team, couldn't score more than 20 points, losing to the Titans, nice win against the Raiders. But, what are the odds that, we finally rebuild the Chiefs, and it'll be the first time we don't get, the Chief sim cheese, where, they're consistently one of the best teams in the league. Now, Chiefs sim cheese, definitely nowhere near as strong as it was a year ago. A year ago, it was 75% of the time, Kansas City was either, if you're doing an AFC rebuild, you'd find them in the championship game, or if you're doing an NFC rebuild, they would be the AFC guy in the Super Bowl. It's probably knocked down to probably, 45% of the time, but it's still a really good clip for the Kansas City Chiefs to make the Super Bowl off of a phenomenal scheme, offensively and defensively. But losing to the freaking Titans in year one sim does not give a lot of confidence. Patrick Mahomes ends up being first in the league in passing yards, but under 30 touchdowns. Now, I'm going to be honest. I've watched a couple Chiefs games. I mean, I'm not going to ever, at least right now, in real life, say the W word that you do when you take a car and you put water and you clean your car on Patrick Mahomes. But a lot of I don't know, man. It's probably just a bad year. It's just a down year. Vibes aren't off. I'm sure he'll bounce back. But there's been a lot of uncharacteristic mistakes that you don't expect to see from a guy that's still absolutely, one of the premier S-tier quarterbacks in the NFL. The run game was, Mahomes was their best rusher all year. I think that's another part. It was just come on. We're going to be losing Pacheco and Hunt to free agency. So again, I don't know. Rashad Smith, maybe we'll look at the upcoming draft. Do we say fuck it and get Jeremiyah Love? Just immediately solve the run game right there? Who knows? Because there's going to be a loss of Kelce, who even being, let's be honest, Kelce's kind of washed this year. Those aren't washed numbers. Yeah, he might have a lot of drops and mistakes, but if he still finishes with almost 1,000 yards, it's pretty harsh to call it washed. But if he does retire, get Kenyon Sadiq or some of the top tight ends could also be a priority for us. Rashee Rice missing half the year, pretty much. He looks like he'll be a lock for 1,000 yards going forward. Xavier Worthy's there as well. Hollywood Brown had 7 touchdowns. So there are weapons in place. Defensively, Nick Bolton, big-time numbers. Shamari Connor, big-time tackles. From a sack standpoint, Karlaftis, 12 TFLs, 8.5 sacks, not bad. 5.5 sacks is pretty bad for Chris Jones, given the amount of salary cap that has been allocated to him. We need him to step up a little bit there. And of course, Leo Chanel leads the team in picks and is bouncing in free agency. So at least the good news for us from a Chiefs fan standpoint is we don't have to go watch Travis Kelce play like 1 year, you know, like a Jerry Rice on the Seahawks type moment. Does retire after 13 seasons, an easy first ballot Hall of Famer. Now from a dev trait standpoint, offensively, no dev traits up or down. Wasn't expecting any, maybe a slight chance that Mahomes loses his X factor. But I think the fact that he finished first in passing yards kind of gave us a little bit of a buffer there. On the defensive side of the ball, we lose the X factor on Chris Jones, which I think was, you know, based off of the production that he had, not that unreasonable, which is very frustrating because he's a very expensive player. Of course, Leo Chenal goes up dev trade as the only linebacker we can't re-sign, so that's awesome. I hope this doesn't happen tonight. We're recording this on Monday Night Football tonight. My beloved Eagles going against the Chargers. Hopefully, for you Chief fans out there, I don't know if Philly wins, kind of extends your Hail Mary to make the playoffs, but I hope we can do that for you. Okay, I'm going to be honest. I think we might need to look at restructuring. I really don't want to lose Chenal. And I feel like our salary cap situation can self-correct. That's just such a reasonable contract for a big-time player. But, I mean, also, $26 million of cap. That is not easy to free up. I think the first thing you got to do is, let's restructure Mahomes. He's not going anywhere. That actually gives us a shot here. Like, if we go something like that, 5-year, $40 million for Leo Chenal, that is an absolute bargain. Thank you very much, Patrick. But I'll be honest, look at the rest of the roster, knowing that Kelce's gone. Everyone else, you know, in a perfect world, we could throw contract like Brian Cook could stay, Hollywood Brown, Isaiah Pacheco. But I really do think we're at a spot right now where everyone else is reasonably replaceable, and I don't want to make our salary cap any worse. Well, if we're trimming the fat, we got Jalen Moore at tackle here, frees up $12 million. See ya. Actually, honestly, both these right tackles, get off my team. Freaking walk and false start here, Jawan Taylor. As much as that pays me to say about Florida Gator. And, yeah, we can just... Actually, you know what? We'll get rid of Jalen Moore for now. Because I don't want to put ourselves in a hole where we have to draft a tackle because we get rid of Jawan Taylor. Mike Daniel also was a player that I think I want to go Gelati as edge long-term. Still has some values of 77 dev traits. So I'm able to make a trade here with the Commanders. And what we're going to get is a third-round pick way down the line once we get to the Madden-generated classes, which is a lot more valuable to me in terms of being able to find a nice player. So we got our salary cap almost $40 million. We just need that to carry over right now. I don't think there's going to be anybody in free agency. I mean, if George Pickens on the Chiefs would be probably pretty crazy. You know, I'm surprised there's not a lot more interest. Anyone wants to come in and, like, take over that Kelce role. But for us, I think, again, we got to get our salary cap situated. It's not worth just spending for the sake of spending here in year one. We got to fix the team through the draft. As we go towards the draft, our focus got on the players I was talking about, man. We have Jeremiyah Love, who somehow got hit with a draft story, which is, you know, hurting his stock potential. I think you'd be playing with fire, assuming he'd be there in the second round. We also scouted the top two tight ends. You got to replace Kelce. We have Stowers. We have Kenyon Sadiq. We've used Kenyon Sadiq in our Eagles rebuild, but every rebuild within itself is kind of independent. But if those guys aren't there in the second round, which, you know, maybe we could be aggressive and trade up. Claire from Ohio State, Trigg from Baylor, Jolly from NC State. Those are actually like very legitimate prospects as well. It's a very good class to need a tight end replacement, so I'm not overly concerned if we do decide that, hey, maybe getting the most talented offensive player pound for pound that's draft eligible this year in Jeremiyah Love, that could just be the rich getting richer and a perfect opportunity to capitalize on what is probably going to be our only time in this rebuild that we have close to a top 10 pick. So let's see. We're going to stay put at 11. We'll take the board as it falls. Ruben Main goes 1, Fernando Mendoza at 2, Dante Moore at 3. That's kind of been an issue. I don't know why. I don't like it. It's not the last realistic rebuild we did. The Giants gave up on Jackson Dart for a new quarterback. Not a fan of that happening. But, I mean, all right, whatever. We can only focus on what we can control. And for us, we have pick of the draft. We can either get our top tight end or our top running back. But the fact that I've yet to use Jeremiyah Love in a rebuild, I think we pull our own Ashton Genty. And we're going to be the inverse of the Chiefs. The Raiders. Where the Raiders drafted Ashton Genty without having anything going for them offensively. So it's just what we saw this year, where there's a couple flashes of greatness. But for the most part, it's Saquon Barkley and the Giants all over again. Great player on a terrible team. Chiefs have the luxury at 11 Jeremiyah Love comes behind an offensive line that's really what we need, a tackle. Replace Jawan Taylor at some point. That offensive line is set and forget. You got Mahomes at quarterback. You got weapons at wide receiver. This would be a terrifying matchup for the rest of the league, which is exactly why we are making this pick. Jeremiyah Love, come on down. A man that could still technically win the Heisman? I don't know. I had a Fernando Mendoza. I had two futures. I had a Dante Moore and Fernando Mendoza future. I actually got my Mendoza future early payout. Like, it's just basically, I got almost all my winnings. I cashed that on the weekend after Indiana defeated Ohio State. But looking at the odds, like Jeremiyah Love and Diego Pavia could still maybe win. But for us, we just get the most Chiefs thing possible. The number one player in the class at pick 11. Thank you very much to the rest of the league. Okay, so we're going to the second round here. Unfortunately, Kenyon Sadiq went in the first round, but Eli Stowers is still there. I am a big fan of Michael Trigg from Baylor. I think we just sit and wait, though. Yeah, pick of the litter. Okay. I mean, if we're blind picking, that's what we're going to do here. Because I have used Eli Stowers before in a rebuild. 2 A's, 2 B's, 6'4", 235. Oh, yeah, that might have to be the pick. Max Clare in comparison. We don't have half the letter grades, athletically speaking. Not bad. Well, we got Michael Trigg, who did rise 282 spots here out of Baylor. B deeper running, B catching, D run block, 6'4", 246. Is kind of just a lesser version. Oh, I'm a fan, though. I'm not going to lie. I was kind of on the assumption Stowers would get drafted, and then we'd have to go Trigg. Now, I guess the other question would be, if I do kind of like Trigg, if we didn't go Stowers here, who could we go and potentially get Trigg in the third round? Because it's not really a tackle that we like. Tackle would be a position that, you know, try to replace Jawan Taylor. We do have Blake Miller from Clemson. That could work. Defensively, ooh, Keldrick Falk. There's a lot of value there. I'm trying to think. We got Gelati. We got Karlaftis already got paid. Defensive tackles. I like Harris, but not so much more than just saying screw it, let's get Stowers. Linebacking core is good. Secondary, we got McKinney, Malik Muhammad, Chandler Rivers, Hill, Damani Jackson. Decent corners, but nothing that's crazy. Yeah, you know what? Unfortunately, doubling up here. We gotta trust the board. That is easily. If this was not a realistic class and we just had a tight end after Kelce retired that looked like this, we would run that pick up to the podium. So Eli Stowers, welcome to Chiefs Kingdom. Number 27 in true value at pick 43. Yeah, that's pretty scary for Diego Pavia's right-hand man. Maybe slightly good news, but like if we would have went opposite and just be like, you know what, we're going to wait. Pick 75, we'll be able to get Michael Trigg. That would have been brutal because he got sniped a couple picks earlier by the New Orleans Saints. And then Max Clare went at 68, so we kind of got ahead of the run-on tight ends. Not going to lie, forgot to hit pause, and I was going to go Wheatley, and we ended up picking, I went safety. Okay, Tafe from Texas. Cool. Just for future picks. Pause draft. I need a corner. Add depth. Get to carry Dave, 6'4", 200 pounds. Those corners don't tend to grow on trees. And he's pretty much a value pick. No dev trait, though. All right, quick look at our draft recap, and this is very much a rich getting richer type draft situation. I don't foresee us having a pick anywhere near pick 11 from here on out. I mean, maybe it could happen, but almost an entire class of 70+. We get McCoy from Boise State, 69. Davis, 70. Tafe, 72. This was the CPU pick. Thank you, CPU. Now, there's no dev trait. Could have been better. But I will take a 72 scheme fit safety every day of the week. Then we get Eli Stowers, 75 with a dev trait. There is, in no other way you can really frame it, our Travis Kelce successor. A 75 dev trait that is 6'4". Maybe slightly undersized, but if you're going to be slightly undersized, you better bring 90 speed, 90 acceleration, and some really good receiving stats. And then to cap it all off, I suppose to just already be a negative Nelly about this, are we going to run the football enough from just a sim standpoint to justify this selection of Jeremiyah Love? Obviously, some pretty big rushing numbers out of Isaiah Pacheco and others in Kansas City in the sim, so I'm fairly confident that this is going to work out. And we're not just going to be a team like he gets like 900 to 1,000 yards every year. I think there's a really good shot that we can get him playing like a top 5 running back. All right, so a new era here in Kansas City. where we're going to hope that, like, Stowers can take over for Kelce. We're going to have to really, really hope that we can, Mahomes has regressed. I mean, that's the elephant in the room. He's no longer a 99, and I imagine as we go throughout this rebuild, it probably won't be brutal regression, but he's going to keep declining. Hopefully not too severe every single time he does, which in turn means, like, maybe you shift towards running the football a little bit more. So that's why we got Jeremiyah Love to do that. I think really just the worst case scenario would be like nothing works. Mahomes regresses and we don't throw the football as much as we assume he should throw the football, and then Jeremiyah Love doesn't really pick up the slack. But I don't want to think in negatives. I want to think in positives that, like, Mahomes is going to crush it, Stowers is going to get that Kelce rub, and Jeremiyah Love is going to be very productive and cakewalk to an offensive rookie of the year award. Defensively, well, we had to make some things move around to keep Leo Chenal. I think that's going to be worth it to keep the 85 superstar linebacker on the squad. I think what I want to see this year is I want to see Chris Jones. He's very expensive. And when you have a team like this where our salary cap situation is not in a great spot, and it's not really in a great spot because we have great players, but if you are an expensive player on a roster, you have got to justify that price tag. We did not see that at a Stone Cold Jones. We didn't really see that at a Trent McDuffie. So we need to see these guys, our big-time, big-name players, on really both sides of the ball. Here in year two, what I want to see is them play like a big-time player. It's unbelievable, man. We all know, if you've played a lot of franchise mode these last couple of years, that in Madden 26, the Chiefs aren't as cheesy as they usually are. They're still pretty cheesy. And of course, thank God we've won 2 in a row. We suck. Like, we can't win. We're 4-5 on the year. I don't know if I've seen the Chiefs be this bad. We literally just did a Raiders franchise mode where the Chiefs were always right there. The Chiefs were always putting up big-time numbers. Now, our offensive numbers are fine. Everything's kind of fine. There's nothing there that's, like, sticking out like a sore thumb, but nothing there's also really that good. So we still have, a lot of football left at 4-5. We could turn the year around, but we're not really belt-to-assing guys like I kind of expected when we started this rebuild. We have $46 million of salary cap. We have some interesting players that are up for contract extension. I think Connor's going to be replaceable. You have Rashee Rice and McDuffie. And I think, I'd be honest, McDuffie is the one you would prioritize in this situation. So that is exactly what we're going to do. Rashee Rice is, you get the out-the-field stuff. It's kind of like, kind of dirtbag, be honest with you, a little bit. Dirtbag. Not saying he's a terrible guy. He made some, there's different levels to what you can do, mistakes off the field, right? But for a guy that does have red flags, not a lot of re-sign interest, and wants that amount of money that we can't even afford, I think I'm pissed off that I just set my focus scouting to tackle to replace Jawan Taylor and not to wide receiver, where we need to probably replace Rashee Rice. I'll tell you right now, just literally the next week from where we just talked about the contract extension with McDuffie, we beat the Chargers, big divisional win, brings us up to 500 in said win. That is what we need to see out of Patrick Mahomes. 6 touchdowns on the day. Well, the record doesn't match our teen rankings, so I think maybe just an off year. But also, of course, year 1 with the Chiefs, we don't go above 500. I think I could probably count on one hand on the 40 rebuilds I've done this year how many times the Chiefs have gone under 500 record-wise. And, of course, our first full year with the Chiefs. And, I mean, if you take in the year that we inherited, we've gone 7-10 and 8-9 with the super team. God damn it. Yep. Statistically, Mahomes still pretty good. 10th in yards, 5th in touchdowns, 39 touchdowns, only 2 picks. So our quarterback is still insane. That is good. Our run game was good. 1,300 yards, 14 touchdowns for Jeremiyah Love. Our pass game, well, for Rashee Rice being the guy that we're about to lose and can't keep, we show that we can survive. Eli Stowers steps in that Kelce role, leads the team in catches, goes over 1,000 yards and 9 touchdowns. And Xavier Worthy, we at least have under contract for another season or two. 1,200 yards, 16 touchdowns. That should be a dev trade increase for maybe a couple guys on the offensive side of the ball. Defensively, a lot of tackles. Chris Jones, 11.5 sacks, fine. Karlaftis, 6.5. Probably underperforming given his contract. Norman Lott with 6 sacks. That is good. Gelati, 10 TFLs, 4 sacks. Not terrible. McDuffie with 3 picks. Happy with that. Just, we slid him that new contract. Bolton's up there, very productive. Noel Williams, who we need to continue to develop and become a dude for us, with 2 picks as well. So, really everything outside of our record looks pretty damn good. Mahomes ends up being top 3 in MVP voting. Jeremiyah Love beats out Eli Stowers for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Patrick Mahomes wins Quarterback of the Year. Xavier Worthy's 16 touchdowns is a Chiefs single-season record, which is kind of crazy. Obviously Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce were here. The next generation for rookie season. Love has the yards rushing and the touchdowns rushing. Stowers gets it with yards, catches, and receptions. So as we look at the depth traits, we have... Jeremiyah Love, superstar dev. I feel like he's superstar dev. I don't think he got a dev trait. No, he did not. So, Offensive Rookie of the Year. No Rich getting even richer. We'll have to be just content that we got Love. But Xavier Worthy, 16 touchdowns on the year, and he's going to have to be our undisputed wide receiver 1 next year. Very happy that he's a superstar dev. So, the rest is kind of starting to finally match up to his speed. Eli Stowers. I think he is a star dev. Yep, that had a hell of an insane year. Might have honestly been tight end 1 across all those categories. He gets a superstar dev, which is sick. So everything is all good on the offensive side of the ball. And I suppose maybe there's a chance at some point we get an unjust dev trait regression for Mahomes, who's getting up there in age a little bit. That has not happened. So we go to the offseason. We need a wide receiver 2, and we're going to try to want to replace Jawan Taylor. Now on the defensive side of the ball, good news and frustrating news. The good news is Chris Jones is back up to an X Factor. Leo Chenal, who we moved a bunch of pieces around last year, is up to an X Factor. Hicks goes from normal up to a star, which we are very happy with. But the bad news is I just don't have money to re-sign Shamari Connor, and he goes up to a superstar dev. Now, do we try to find a way to maybe make this contract happen? I will consider it, but we'll have to see what the numbers look like. So I'm hoping with our salary cap situation where we can't really feasibly extend Rashee Rice, we're going to decline the 5th-year option on Xavier Worthy. Hopefully the salary cap looks a little bit better. I don't think we all would like a scenario where we can't afford Rashee Rice this year and then we just can't afford Xavier Worthy next year. You want to at least try to retain some of your talent. Shamari Connor is one, though, that is really, really reasonable. Player-friendly deal. Maybe we bump that to 3.5 to keep a superstar safety on the team. Makes a lot of sense. Very similar to Leo Chenal, where it's like the contract, the value for the talented player makes a whole lot of sense to try to keep that in the building. But we are going to be losing starters, man. Drew Tranquil is a starting linebacker. Fulton was a starting corner. Jawan Taylor was a starting tackle. And Rashee Rice was our wide receiver 1. We're going to have to go replace that with a very limited budget. Most likely, it's going to have to be through the draft. So as far as finding budgets at the players that we kind of need to go get, Booty and Parker Washington do kind of make some sense here. Washington is a scheme fit. Not cheap, though. $6 million a year is not cheap. Tackle department, you got developmental guys. Broderick Jones was a high pick. Anton Harrison is there, but he's looking for 15 a year. There's no bargains to be had. And then when you go on the defensive side of the ball, hey, Valentine's not bad, but again, not cheap, not affordable, and we're kind of in the business of trying to find really, 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 really good value. And don't know if that exists. Jalen Jones, not a scheme fit. Clark Phillips is a scheme fit, 5'10", 183. But again, we're looking. I feel I'm confident and arrogant enough. I think I could draft. I think if not this year, maybe we have a little bit of a down year, but between this year and the next year's generated draft class, I think we can go cheap here. Take a look at mock draft 5, knowing our needs. Wide receiver, offensive tackle. Well, we're not going to have a chance. Jeremiah Smith. Whatever that's a rebuild we got to get to. Another thing that's just kind of crazy is we just did a rebuild with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Diego Pavia became our guy. Arch Manning was the last pick of the 2nd round or something crazy like that. But in this mock draft, he's going 8th. So that's just kind of crazy. Ryan Williams at 13. We pick at 16. We're currently expected to get maybe Brian Parker. We've yet to use Jordan Seaton in a rebuild. Big time former 5-star recruit for Colorado. So that could make some sense. Caleb Lomu is available at 21. Not looking like a great spot for wide receivers. Like, maybe we'll have to see what wide receivers fall to the second round. Unless we would want to try to trade up for a Ryan Williams, which that could also be arranged. But I think where we're stuck at 16, I think maybe we get our tackle. We get our right tackle for the future and hope in the second round there's going to be a wide out there. So, I didn't see any of these guys going in the first round. So we have like Nick Marsh, Michigan State. We'll take a look. Wesco from Clemson. Oops, sorry. We'll take a look. Marsh, Wesco. We'll go Cam Coleman as well. Just the three that like could be there in the second round. Let's see what they're working with. From a free agency standpoint, the big loss was Rashee Rice, who is now a member of the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know what, actually? Because, and this has been the biggest pain in the ass of setting the house rule to kind of combat some of the XP, the overpowered XP in Madden franchise, is we have to go archetypes. So, honestly, looking at the tackles, there was a couple that we could pick from. I might have to go with the one that's like the scheme fit, agile. So we're not just burning overall points, all willy-nilly. So let's go to our pick here at pick number 16. And looking at the final mock draft, it kind of held true. Brian Parker, the right tackle. I don't know if he was actually going at that spot. But only one tackle, offensive tackle, is off the board. We are the pick of the litter. And I would love to find one that is an agile. I'd love to look at straight up right tackles. While we have no information done and not a scheme fit. Jordan Seaton, Lomu, Goodsby, Carter Smith. Lomu is the only one at agile. How far away is Seaton from an agile? That would be the question. Oh, he's so good. 4.7! But Lomu is a straight up fit. But he's a pass protector. He's not a power. We've used Lomu in a rebuild before. I'm going to take the gamble here. I've never had a chance at Jordan Seaton. Every bit a 5-star offensive tackle prospect. Kind of insane that we get arguably the top tackle this year. Last year, we get maybe the top skill position player in Jeremiyah Love. Come on down, Jordan Seaton, number 6 in true value at pick 16. Looks pretty good, pretty good. And I'd say from an agile standpoint, obviously I don't love the D run block finesse, but he has a pass block finesse. I don't think there's going to be a huge discrepancy to get him into a scheme fit. We're into the second round. Ryan Williams is still on the board. Like, it's one of those, like, what are the odds? The Vikings, who don't need a wide receiver, will draft him anyways, because he's clearly the best guy. So I almost feel like it's our duty for realism to go get this pick at 33. It's going to be expensive to go from 48 to 33. Especially seeing that I can't throw any players in because of the Vikings salary cap situation. We did get that extra third next year. Like, is that enough for 2 and 2 threes? Maybe an overpay. I would have loved to keep that third round pick because we still need to try to find a DB. But Ryan Williams falling to the second. I mean, he could. His draft stock has plummeted. He went from literally him and Jeremiah Smith. Might be 2 generational guys coming out at the same time. It might be like the Jamar Chase, Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle year all over again. Stock's kind of trending down on Ryan Williams. So you could see him fall out of the first round. But the talent is certainly undeniable. And we need him. Come on down. Ryan Williams, deep threat. A catching, B deep at running, 4-3-2. You got to replace Rashee Rice. And I think we could bring in Ryan Williams, and there won't be that much of a noticeable drop-off. I think he's going to slot right well into our scheme. He's literally the number 5 player in the class. This rebuild has been insane value for the Kansas City Chiefs. We need a corner, and we're in blind pick territory here. Like, might just have to take, like... Do we have C's? What do we got? We got double C there for K and Lee. He is a scheme fit. Des Ricks from A&M. He's a couple times I've seen A&M play. He's been pretty good. Owls from Toledo. I thought he was a safety. I'm kind of feeling like Des Ricks might be the guy here. There we go. 111 in true value, pick 112. I'll take that. He might be like close to a 70. So take a look at our draft recap. Pretty happy with it, all things considered. Even like down the backstretch here, we got our punter that we needed. We got Logan Fano, an edge rusher from Utah, 69. We get another speedster and Aaron Anderson from LSU, 94 speed, 96 acceleration. Desrick, 69. Nice. Made the aggressive trade to get Ryan Williams, which I think with how we handled and get the value that we're able to get with our remaining picks, and we gave up a free extra third-round pick next year to go and get a 78 depth trait wide receiver. Yep, that's pretty sick. And then I think we made the right call here with Seaton. But the question with him is, oh, shit. Should we have just gone Lomu, who's an agile right away? Probably. So what you need to do when you don't get, whoa, do-si-do there. When you don't get the scheme fit, you gotta go and get your gold medal in this. So we're gonna be maybe getting at least one upgrade points to get that agile scheme fit working for Jordan Seaton. Hell of a job with the gold medal. So as we start year number 3, well, we get, Seaton, that actually feels like an upgrade right away on Jawan Taylor. Big regression, but maybe eventually we'll be at the same level. Rashee Rice going to Ryan Williams. But I think the aggressiveness to go get a guy that out of training camp, 79 dev trade at wide receiver 2. Worthy's coming off a 16 touchdown season. Jeremiyah Love, Eli Stowers. This is an offense. We were all green. Our records was garbage last year at 8-9, but our points, yards, rush yards, hell, even our defense was pretty good. So I'm optimistic that we're going to at least go above 500 this season. Big change would be, I guess, Jeff Bassa from Oregon. He has to step up at will after we lost Drew Tranquil. But other than that, I'm expecting very high-level play, both sides of the football here. So midway point of view number 3, finally starting to play like the Kansas City Chiefs, 5-2. We got the Browns and Raiders, all due respect, on the horizon. Feel pretty good. A lot of green for our ratings as well. Looking at our contracts here, we have a little bit of salary cap, 69, nice. But we have, we're not, I don't think we're going to have a free agency like in-house that we're not going to lose at least someone that we want to keep. Like Suamadia, there's a guy there for sure, but with a limited budget, guards are fairly replaceable. I do like Jaden Hicks. He got his dev trade. Like maybe something like that. Where does that put you? 3 years? No, starting to like the offer. Okay, get an asshole agent. We got Nick Bolton. He's just looking for a 3-year. Lock him in for the rest of his prime. Let's go. And then the big one. We've got to let a lot of guys leave the building. I feel like Xavier Worthy's going to be the guy we keep. Mr. 424. We get him signed in. I think we'll probably have enough to give a little bit more, like maybe $20 million, Jaden Hicks. If he turns down the next offer, we got to move on. As we close out year number 3, I feel like we're finally, hitting the gas here a little bit. We're getting where we need to go. Year 3, I think year 4, 5, we're all going to be looking good. I'll go 11-6. Got to run the gauntlet. Not good enough to get the first round bye. Love the green ratings, up and down. Now, they're, some of them are on the closer side of not being green ratings, but generally speaking, very happy with that. We get our first divisional title of the rebuild, even though right away we're into the AFC West rivalry, and it won't really matter. That won't really feel good being our first AFC West champs if we are one and done by the team that came second place. Taking a look at these stats here, Patrick Mahomes, pretty good. Top 5 in yards, just outside the top 5 in touchdowns, which is still bullshit. I've done more than enough rebuilds here in Madden 26 where I've seen Patrick Mahomes get 50 touchdowns. So let's get to 50 touchdowns with him. Let's figure out what the combination is to get him back to throwing 50 touchdowns. I think Jeremiyah Love being this damn good probably plays a part in the lack of 50 touchdowns. That is maybe the most insane sim stat line we've seen out of a running back in any of our realistic rebuilds. 1,400 yards, 23 touchdowns, 0 fumbles. Had a long of 99 for Jeremiyah Love, who ends his sophomore campaign as a 93 superstar. Yep, that's pretty cool. From a passing standpoint, Xavier Worthy, almost 1,300 yards and 13 touchdowns. The rookie Ryan Williams goes over 1,000 yards. Eli Stowers puts up pretty good numbers. So does Jalen Royals, who's a little bit of a sleeper wide receiver out of Utah State. From a blocking standpoint, don't love the fact Jordan Seaton did give up 10 sacks. Do love the fact that Jordan Seaton's depth trait is a superstar. So that means the big name players that we got last year. Jeremiyah Love was a superstar out the gate. Eli Stowers was a star, but because tight ends eat in this system, he finished his rookie campaign as a superstar. And then this year we followed up Jordan Seaton on the offensive line as a superstar dev. I think Ryan Williams is only a star. I mean, that's a hell of a year. He might get Offensive Rookie of the Year. We might just be 4 for 4, bringing in big-name college players and then being superstar dev playmakers. On the defensive side of the ball, we got 5 guys over 100 tackles, which is pretty good. We got Chris Jones playing like he needs to with 16.5 sacks, 8 for Karlaftis, 6.5 for Gelati, 5 for Norman Lott, 3 picks, McDuffie, Hicks, 2 for Tafe. Not the best numbers, but also not terrible. You know what? Shout out Matt Stafford, still playing at a high level at this point. Michael Penix beating off. Whoa, the bust allegations. Whoa, pause. And shout out Patrick Mahomes for getting top 5 in MVP voting. Wow, that's wild. Ryan Williams wins Offensive Rookie of the Year. Jeremiyah Love is Running Back of the Year. We get Xavier Worthy winning Wide Receiver of the Year. So there's a very good likelihood that Worthy goes up dev trait up to an X Factor, and Jeremiyah Love gets a dev trait and goes up an X Factor. I think Love for sure is going to be a lock because you throw up the award, you throw up the fact that his stats were insane. All of that team and individual success comes down to a home game against the Chargers that are also not even really in the same area code of talent. They're an 83 overall. We're almost a 90 overall. This needs to be a sweat-free dub for the Chiefs to roll on and get to the divisional round. Let's go bang the drum. Is that a real player? Is that the mascot that, like, did a robbery? That kind of looked like Jamal Charles. All right. Anyways, let's go, Chiefs. Opening drive touchdown. Very nice. Second drive. Probably should have got some points there. I will be honest. So Harrison Butker is a player I want on this roster. Very expensive kicker. Would rather not. I mean, hell of a job from the defense. Offensively, how do we only have 10 points? Love scoring there. That's a great response. Field goal late by Butker probably makes that game out of reach for the Chargers, but I don't know, man. I'm putting a higher standard to this Chiefs team. I think we should be belt to ass and a little bit better than just, that wasn't really a sweating victory. At no point was I really worried, but it also wasn't an impressive victory, which is, given the talent of the two teams on the field. Mahomes, not a crazy showing by any means. 1 touchdown, 1 pick on the day. Jeremiyah Love absolutely getting the game ball. 12 yards a carry. Disgusting. Eli Stowers, shout out. Jeremiyah Love also had the only receiving touchdown. Defensively, 2 sacks from Chris Jones. Pickens, Karlaftis, Norman Lott getting after it. I mean, this is good. This defense, that offense, we get a little bit better. If we can get like 20% more to Patrick Mahomes, we absolutely can go on and win a Super Bowl. Up next, kind of a banger on our hands. Chiefs-Bills, probably the best rivalry going in the AFC over the last 5 years or so. But Chiefs have owned this rivalry. Let's make sure we continue that and punch our ticket to the AFC Championship game. I think maybe too, we're the home team in this one. Maybe that's just enough to give us a little advantage over Josh Allen and the Bellas here. That'll be another interesting rebuild. Whenever we get to Buffalo, I think that'd be a fun one, too, to try to figure out how to get them over the line. But can't start thinking about other rebuilds. We are honestly struggling so far with the Kansas City Chiefs. But it's looking pretty good here, especially if we can kind of put away here with a great drive in the fourth quarter. 28-16, a turnover by Josh Allen trying to play Superman. And it just continues. There is the belt ass we're looking for. 35-16. Mahomes continues to own Josh Allen. No overtime needed. Looking at Mahomes. Oh, yeah, look at that. 3 touchdowns, no pick. Unstoppable robo quarterback. And even Jeremiyah Love, not crazy yards, still gets 2 rushing touchdowns. Xavier Worthy, hat trick of receiving touchdowns. The rookie Ryan Williams, over 100 yards. Defensively, Karlaftis, Norman Lott getting after. We have Tafe getting a pick. Beautiful. Wow. Are we in a Titans rebuild? 13-4 with an 81 rated roster. Number 1 defense in the league. How the hell did that happen? I think we've done like 2 different Titans rebuilds. I don't think I've even been flirting with a Super Bowl till year 5, let alone year 3. Cam Ward is almost more picks than touchdowns, and they're a win away from winning the Super Bowl, or going to the Super Bowl anyways. Pretty good rushing attack. Shout out Canada with A.O. Manor. I mean, let's see this defense. What do they got going on here? Okay, they got Oladejo, 16 sacks. Nick Herbig, formerly the Steelers. Jeff Simmons. They got Peter Woods from Clemson. Sneed, Zabin Brown, Brian Cook. I mean, you know, this would be, I'll put it this way, a horrific loss for the Chiefs. Good for the Titans to get here. We can't lose this game. But it does feel like we're in someone else's rebuild here. It's a rain game, which, you know, we got Jeremiyah Love for that. Becomes a little tricky to throw the football. We have Jeremiyah Love. All right, boom. I mean, this should be, I'm going to be honest, this shouldn't be close. This needs to be like a 30 to 35-14 type performance. But somehow the Titans are beating us. Come on, man. What? What? Cam Ward? No, no. No, 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 no. That is fucking insane. They went on and won the Super Bowl. Those who cleared out our lockers, very, you know, that's a brutal loss. There's no other way to put it. But I mean, we're looking insane. So Seaton, superstar dev out the box. Eli Stowers makes the jump from superstar up to an X Factor. Ryan Williams makes the jump from star up to superstar after winning Offensive Rookie of the Year. Jeremiyah Love from superstar up to an X Factor. Xavier Worthy from superstar up to an X Factor. And I mean, when we look at the offense in closing, we're going to need a new left guard, but we're going into Madden generated classes, so I feel pretty confident I can find a guard here. Maybe look at like an upgrade at wide receiver 3 long term. We probably wouldn't extend Jalen Royals when it comes time to do so. But, I mean, yeah, we need a guard. Other than that, this offense should be ready to go to run it back. Defensively, pretty much more of the same, man. We got Shamari Connor going from superstar up to an X Factor. He is our nickel. Like, when we're in nickel, we have Hicks and Toffee playing safety with Connor in the nickel. That could potentially change. I mean, getting a third corner in could be of interest to the team, or a new pass rush, or a new will linebacker. But for the most part, yeah, that was a really bad missed opportunity against Tennessee, because this is a Super Bowl window right here. Like, this should have been a Super Bowl win. We should have cashed out, gone down a successful, realistic rebuild, and now we're looking at year 4, year 5, hoping we don't screw it up. So for us, from a contract standpoint, we're going to decline the 5th-year option of Josh Simmons, because we're going to pay him next season. That's going to be a huge contract. We're going to let Suimadia go, just because I think anywhere we could save, we kind of have to save right now. So, and plus it helps because if we re-sign Suimadia, make the budget a little bit tighter, I'd have no clear direction for this upcoming draft. We'd be like BPA. But now we let him walk. We can look for an upside at guard. And plus he's been stuck in that normal dev trade. I think we can find someone with a higher ceiling. For free agency, we're not looking really at any options here. We need a guard. I think that's going to have to come via the draft. Zion Johnson, not terrible. Couple options there for sure. Third wide receiver, we're not going to spend. Not really like one exists anyways. Jalen Noel actually wouldn't be terrible. Good speed, but $5.5 million per year. Again, I think we could probably find a wide receiver, target a wide receiver early if we need to. I don't love our pass rush. I think like our edge rushers could get more production, but it's like, do we want to pay $22 million a year for Nolan Smith? Not really. And then you just kind of have rentals on the other side that are also very expensive for the time being. So I think we're gonna chill. I mean, I knew coming into this rebuild, our salary cap situation was gonna be tight. So if we were gonna make a big splash, it may come via trade if we get desperate next offseason. All right, so as we go into the draft, our 3 focus scouts. I want to do my homework on the pass rush just because I'm, Gelati's going to be one of those guys when it comes to contract time. Are we going to re-sign him? Probably not. So Haas actually looks pretty decent. Scheme fit. First, second round pick. We got to look for guys that are going to be, late first round, second round. Griffin kind of swung and missed there. Only 1 first round guard, and he's a top 5 talent, so that could be an easy slam dunk pick, even though not a perfect scheme fit. Let's see where he's going in a mock draft. I have a feeling he's probably going particularly high, but we will see. We're picking at 29, and Weston is going 26. Could be worth calling the Raiders there to get a top 5 at really our only position of need. Again, even though he's not a scheme fit and could be a pain in the ass for his player development, a top 5 talent at guard's always someone you want to call the Raiders. All right, able to make a trade. We took a 3rd rounder next year. I threw in a scheme fit D tackle because D tackle was their 2nd biggest need. We just took McClellan, like kind of just a random guy that, on a rookie deal, whatever. Enough to get it to go from 98% to 100% trade. Thank you for doing business. Able to leapfrog. And we're going to be able to go select Mr. Nicholas Weston from Clemson. Let's see it. Yeah, okay, that'll rich get richer. We might have just added another superstar. We might have 4 out of 5 linemen be superstar depth if this pick hits the way it should hit. Now in the 2nd round, there is a D tackle that I am just enamored by. Mr. Morales. Now, Norman Lott, our D tackle 2, has been solid, but it's 306, so he's bigger than most nose tackles. You get the double C, you get the 43 reps at his pro day, you get the great, sometimes you get that elite acceleration. But I think for our team where we're at, I think a nose tackle at that spot that looks, I don't know if I would have assumed he would have been number 12, but I think, fairly confident that was going to be a top 32 first-round pick caliber player. Do we get a dev trait? Yes! Last couple nose tackle picks, we've got good ratings, but no dev traits, limited ceilings. Morales could be special. I'm going to grab a pass rusher here. We have Rashawn Marsh, B finesse, B tackle, C power, speed rusher, 2nd in the 40-yard dash, 3-cone, 20-yard shuttle looks pretty good. And we just want to add a little bit more competition, a little bit more depth to that pass rush. Maybe slightly overdrafting here. 116 at 81. But we get a dev trade. I'm trying to think, what was there any tells on this guy? I do not have a good track record drafting non-first round. Honestly, I don't have a great track record drafting I traded up for an edge rushers in Madden 26. I mean, that guy had a good combine. 40-yard dash, 20-yard shuttle. All those things were top 3. So, I mean, I guess that was a tell. Get your athletes, I guess. All right, into the day 3 picks, we have Juan Perez. Linebacker, we need a will. There's no good wills, but this Sam, A tackle, B pursuit, and you got elite acceleration, 3-cone, 20-yard shuttle iron, bad. Wish the 40 was a little bit faster, but there's not a lot of the fastest 40-yard dash for linebackers right now is a high 4.5 and 4.58, 4.59. So 4.64, well, not great, is not terrible. Hey, he hit 111 and 125. There goes our dev trait streak. Well, we'll just if we weren't going to get that guard, Devon Ewing looked like the next best, and he's tracking a 34 in true value at 157, and we get a very nice dev trait, and he's a scheme fit. Okay, this guy's going to be cheesy. You have Matt Pitts, UDFA, slot wide receiver, elite acceleration, 2nd in the 3-cone, 1st in the 20-yard shuttle, runs a 4.38 at his pro day. And then when you look at the skills, now I'm being a little put off by the C catching. Usually, the prototype, you get A catching traffic, A catching, A short route running. Everything else is horrific. C catching is coming in a little bit lower than expected, but we say we want to add another wide receiver. That's kind of the missing piece. He looks like the best. If we wanted to just go off of pure speed, we have Tiller here as well from Clemson. But when you're looking at these type of archetypes, you really want to look for guys that have A, B, deep route running. Now, he does, good speed for sure. Love the 3-cone drill. But he lacks discipline. Does Pitts lack discipline? Does he have good discipline? He also lacks discipline. But I'm a little bit more, I think this guy's going to be very good. I'd be shocked if he's not 74, 75. 18 in true value, that's probably right around that line. No dev trait, though. That kind of sucks. Last pick, I'm going to bring in a kicker. Oh, not a crazy kicker, but let's be honest, Butker sucks. Let's get him off our team. So looking at the draft recap, pretty disgusting. Really disgusting. Kicker ends up being our only player below 70. We have Pitts 76 normal, Ewing 75 dev trait, Perez 70 normal, Marsh 70 but a dev trait. And getting a dev trait edge rusher in the 3rd round is honestly, that's probably our best pick of this whole draft, if I'm being honest with you. The rarest pick of this whole draft. Morales 77 with a dev trait, And we get Mr. Weston, who we had scouted as a top 5 true talent. No way he should have fallen to 25. He did. We will take advantage. That's again, we are absolutely dominating the draft here. Realistic class, and in our first Madden class, we get the #1 player. Ooh, we didn't get all the picks, so that would have been someone I would have liked to sniff out. Cabrera here, 2nd-round pick, 79 rated, 98 acceleration, a lot to like there. Look at that too. Another a couple guys high in the 70s in the 2nd round that weren't on my radar, which I don't love. Luckily though, our 2nd-round pick was a hit, but a really, really strong class. All right, midseason year 4, we're back on. We're crushing teams. We're feeling good. 7-3. A lot of green for the most part. Rushing yards down a little bit for Jeremiyah Love, but I think we'll be fine. I think the bye week just happening too kind of tanked our overall ratings just a little bit there. Looking at our contract situation, 122. And I'm going to be honest. I think we had to pay Simmons first. 4-year, 114. We did just draft a dev trade guard. We have depth behind Trey Smith. We do not have it at center. So let's get Creed Humphrey on ooh, he wants a little bit more money, huh? And I do like the fact Trey Smith is interested in re-signing. I like Noel Williams at corner. Let's get him a 4-year deal. Even the production hasn't really been there. I think Gelati's replaceable. I think we absolutely need Chris Jones. I'm going to see. It's a lot for 1 year. It's going to be quite a substantial cap hit. But he needs to finish this whole rebuild as a member. So almost just under $30 million cap hit. It's pretty brutal. But he's also Chris Jones. He's also got 30 sacks in the last 2 years. So we have $37 million. See, my issue right now, fellas, is I don't want to handicap this roster. If we sign Trey Smith here, fuck it, man, I can't just. It hurts my soul to let a 94, 95 X superstar guy go. We got to re-sign everybody. We'll do it. But it does limit ourselves that if we don't win the Super Bowl this year, I'm not going to have a lot of salary cap to make maybe a splash trade that could be the missing piece to put this team over the hump if we need to go into year 5 Super Bowl or bust. Let's be optimistic. We're going to win a Super Bowl this year in year 4. So the end of year number 4, we've yet to put up a crazy 13, 14, 15 win season that I'm not going to lie, kind of thought coming in we'd have a couple by year 4, but we go 12-5. Our ratings are green for the most part. Don't love the rushing yards being down a little bit, but as you can see, Jeremiyah Love did still go over almost 1,200 yards on the day. Mahomes picked up the production, so the offense is still there. We get our 2nd straight AFC West title, which feels good. Tough contest there with 3 teams in the West making the playoffs. Mahomes 3rd in passing yards, top 10 in touchdowns. Interceptions kind of creeping up there a little bit, but 7 overall. That's a fine year. Jeremiyah Love still crushing it. Decent. You always get a couple extra rushing touchdowns there for Mahomes. So he finishes with 37 total on the year. Receiving, we get our 2,000-yard receivers. Ryan Williams goes over 1,000. Stowers had a solid year. The rookie Pitts had a solid year, but look at that from Xavier Worthy. 77 catches, 1,200 yards, 17 touchdowns. He has crushed it in this rebuild. Oh, yeah. Also, by the way, as knowing that we got the #1 player in the class, how good was he? Well, they give up 6 sacks, but he is another one. Nicholas Weston, superstar depth, which I need that. There's been, if you look at the last 5, top 5 linemen that I've drafted from a generated class, they have not been superstar depth. They've been star, so why not? The rich continue to get richer. We have killed this whole process. Defensively, tackles are on point there. Sacks have regressed a little bit, but still, Chris Jones, 10 sacks is fine. Karlaftis, 9, 8.5. Gelati. We got 5 on 11 TFLs for the big nose tackle, Morales, who is another one. Superstar dev nose tackle cheese. Shout out Leo Chenal. Look at that. 139 tackles, 6 TFLs, 2 sacks, 7 interceptions. 3 picks. Noel Williams get a new contract as well. That is a insane season from Leo Chenal. We get Xavier Worthy, who wins Offensive Player of the Year and Wide Receiver of the Year. And we get Leo Chenal, who wins Defensive Player of the Year and Linebacker of the Year. All right, we need to win. Honestly, our team is year 4, year 5. We should close this thing out with 2 Super Bowls. We're going to be the home dogs here against a Denver team that we should probably belt the ass. And there we go. We're losing. Oh, like a picks. I got to help him. This is Not the first time. Not the first time. We've rebuilt one of the good teams. When it comes time to rebuild a team that we always see win when we're doing any other type of rebuild. Huge play. Let's go, Xavier Worthy. And then they just magically, for some reason, are terrible when we user them. That's kind of where we're at here, man. Like, I think if you did 10 AFC rebuilds, how many of those 10 are the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl? 4, probably. 4 would be on the low side. Let's see if we can get a shot play here to Worthy and just cheese our way through a victory here. Oh, we got a little bit of match up on. Oh, we got it. That's a little cheesy, but that's what you gotta do because this team's usually cheesy, and like there's no way, there's no fact of like we're using these guys, so they're just gonna make it fucking suck. And by reality means tinfoil hat. The play the moment sim versus just simming game to game sim is two different entire beasts. But you know what? I will say right now, because it's only year 4, that was a frustration. I'm gonna come in and cheese a win. There will be an asterisk next to the Super Bowl win if we do get it done. But I'm shocked at how shit this Chiefs team is in the sim when we hop in the playoffs. It's shocking how bad they are. We're just running the division. We're gonna lose. I'm not hopping in anyway. There's no way we're beating the Chargers. We should crush them. We should crush them in every single measurable category. We are better, and we're just cursed. Ooh, I mean, a snow game should favor us too. We got the best running back in the league, but here we go again. There we go, trailing. Slow scoring game. You know, I like to think our defense has the playoff pedigree. We're the home field team. You know, all these things should be in our favor. A snow game against a California team. But watch how we're going to probably make it super hard on ourselves. Settling for field goals. Can't finish drives off. Maybe able to squeak past a California team in a goddamn blizzard here. But this probably won't be good enough to get our Super Bowl win. 27-10 is a nice win, though. I'm not going to complain because it could have absolutely gone the other way and made 0 sense. In this matchup, Mahomes was solid. Run game was solid. Xavier Worthy speed did not get affected by the snow. We got a couple sacks here as well. Gelati, love seeing that. Homegrown player. And our AFC Championship game is against the team we beat last year in the divisional round. Chiefs versus Bills. This time we're on the road against Buffalo. Their defense is very good. Their run game, they got a balanced offense. Can Josh Allen finally beat the Chiefs? I hope not. All right, so it's a clear game. No snow to worry about. Rain, sleet, or snow. Chiefs can go. Nice opening drive touchdown. Buffalo goes down. Gets a touchdown as well. Okay, long, methodical drives. Turnover for the Chiefs. Let's go. Punch it in with a touchdown. Pitch that shutout to end the first half. Buffalo starts the second half with a touchdown. We march right down the field. Oh, 10-point lead. 5 minutes to go. 7-point lead. We have 3rd and 2. Able to get that first down. We should be able to put this game away right here. Oh, my God. I feel bad for the Bills fans. Bills Mafia are sick and tired of Mahomes and the Chiefs. But we are in the Super Bowl. Asterisk, absolutely. Not going to excuse us from that wild card nonsense. But it's nice to still be there. A Super Bowl with an asterisk is still going down as a successful rebuild with an asterisk. Sack and a half, Chris Jones. Pick from Trent McDuffie. Our stars showing out. The Chiefs are back in the Super Bowl. Ooh, we got a bang on our hands. It's a very good Detroit Lions team. We go 15-2, the #1 offense, a top 5 rushing offense, a top 5 defense. Really, on paper, looks like the top 2 teams in the NFL. May the best team win. Lions beat the Packers, beat the Giants. Giants are an absolute wagon nowadays after the last couple title updates. For some reason, you know, someone decided to make them sim gods. The very best of the Detroit's able to get there. Let's see it, man. I mean, I think at the end of the day, give me Mahomes in the Super Bowl every day of the week over Jared Goff in the Super Bowl. Yeah, maybe, I don't know. Maybe Dan Campbell's in his bag right now, and he's ready to put maybe the final nail in the coffin on the Chiefs dynasty. Hell of a drive by Detroit, opening up touchdown. 2 straight. We're in a little bit of a deficit. We just got to give Mahomes a chance in the second half. I don't know the fact that every single drive our defense has given up a touchdown. There we go. Okay, we got a chance. We have a chance. Let's watch play-by-play here. This is going to be huge. Can Patrick Mahomes use a little bit of that magic that we've seen so many times? And we start with a Aiden Hudson sack, 2nd and 17. Nah, that's going to do it. Look at that. Just incomplete. Nothing, man. Oh, 21 yards. Jeremiyah Love. Hell yeah. What a play. We follow that up with 11 yards to Xavier Worthy. That will take us to the 2-minute warning at midfield. Can we get this to overtime? Oh, man. Look at that. What a drive. Now, did we score too quickly? Minute 16 to go. Oh, my God. Oh, no. No. Oh, you can't do that. You can't give Mahomes 40 seconds. That's a hell of a punt. That's a gong. Put it on the 10. But if there's any such thing as Mahomes, I don't like how we... Oh, wow. There's no way Andy Reid would take that into overtime. But, Kansas City's 1-0 in their overtimes, beating the 49ers. What can we do here? Opening drive, it starts with the Chiefs. Jeremiyah Love. Jeremiyah Love. Don't know about that. Those play calls. All right, now we got to play defense. Love like a Stone Cold Jones play. 3rd and 10. Brings up a 4th and 6. Trading punch, which means we only have to get into field goal range. Oh, boy. Matt Pitts, 12 yards. Nothing. Oh, shot play. Ryan Williams, 25 yards. We need probably 10 more yards to get in a Butker's range. We might even try that from the 49. Oh, no, there we go. Nice little play. 9 yards, Xavier Worthy. Dude. This is looking very good for the good guys. Jeremiyah Love. I don't know how much easier we need to make this kick, boys. Let's just take the points. I'll put it in my notes. I get a notebook for every rebuild. There's an asterisk going next to the Super Bowl. But there's, more importantly than the asterisk, is a check mark. Super Bowl has been won. I'd love to win one in year 5 with no assists. But at the end of the day, we earned that Super Bowl, man. We were not looking good in the first half. Second half, just way too many chances for Patrick Mahomes that you simply can't give in real life and or in a video game. And there's another Super Bowl. So at the end of the day, asterisk or not, this will go down as a successful rebuild. But we got a little bit of work to do year 5. I want a clean year 5. I want a clean playoff run, a clean Super Bowl run. But for what it's worth, this team on their own won the Divisional, won the championship, went on and won the Super Bowl. 24-21 over the Detroit Lions, Super Bowl MVP. Let's see what we got here. It's probably going to be Holmes with 350 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Good showing from Ryan Williams there. Defensively, not a great performance. So, yeah, very easy to give another MVP trophy to Patrick Mahomes. As we clean out our locker, Super Bowl champions, look at this offense, ready to run it back. Pretty disgusting, right? We just added, we added a superstar guard. I don't think I've ever had 4 superstar linemen. And I mean, Simmons is still what? Where would he be rated? He's a top 10 left tackle. And if you put his age at 26, like he's probably close to a top 5 tackle. This might be one of the best offensive lines we've ever had. One of the best skill position groups we've ever had. Right, even the one that's not great, it's like, that's just an 84 rookie. Yeah, no worries about it. On the defensive side of the ball, we lose the X factor on Chris Jones, but we drafted a superstar at nose tackle there. Noel Williams goes up depth trait. We lose the X factor on Shamari Connor. That's probably an age thing, but offense, defense, this team's pretty scary, man. Yes, asterisk on the Super Bowl, but as far as building this team and kind of navigating the waters of like post Travis Kelce and losing some big name free agents because their salary cap sucked, I don't think you're going to find a better way to rebuild the Chiefs than what we've done here today. And we still got one more year to win another Super Bowl. It's going to be a well-ran organization here. We are going to decline the 5th-year option of Jeremiyah Love. Doesn't matter, right? We're at the end of the rebuild anyways now, but the process needs to remain the same. Everyone else, thank you for your service. Best of luck elsewhere. Best of you. Now we can kind of throw our hair up here a little bit. We're going to the final year of the rebuild. Where can we spend money? There's nothing. You can't. I don't think, you're looking at RB2, but even our RB2 doesn't need. It's all Jeremiyah Love in our backfield. Wide receiver 2, we're good there. Defensively, You know, a will linebacker, I guess, in base would be nice. You know, nickel corner. We have Marsh here at pass rush if we have to. So I'd say you got nickel corner, edge rush, will linebacker. Those would be the 3 spots. So what do we got? We got, ooh, John Grenard. I mean, we have enough money to get a rental here if we need to. Brian Burns. Now, I've signed Brian Burns a couple times, so I don't want to do that one. But like a Trey Hendrickson, he's a scheme fit as well. Grenard is not a scheme fit. So, yeah, all right, you know, Trey Hendrickson could make a lot of sense here to replace Gelati. Like you were getting immediately better there. If we wanted to look at a linebacker, getting a Kobe Dean, maybe that's where we draft somebody. Nickel corner. Not much there. So yeah, I think what we'll do here is we'll see if Mr. Hendrickson wants to come play for a Super Bowl next year. And then in the draft, see if we can get a linebacker and a corner. 2 linebacker can be tricky, but I'm very confident we can find a nice corner 3. So when it comes to our 3 focus scout positions, we need linebacker and we need a corner. Now, I was here getting ready. Like, our focus scout was corner. We got Devontae Red looks good. Mayer, you know, we got a couple guys scouted, but I'm bummed out when these guys exist because it takes the challenge of it. Look at this guy. DeMarcus Dobson's a day 3 pick. A-zone, B-press, B-man, 5'10", 185, 4'2", like, elites. Why? That guy is going to be, you know, 75 minimum. And I can wait super long. So we're gonna look at some linebackers here. I think we maybe go off of speed. We have Cologne, day 2. We have Elias Castaneda, 4'5", 4'4". That 4.45 is pretty fast. Then we'll go Von Harrison with the 4.5. Grab a linebacker in the first round. Grab that corner in the second round. We're out of this laughing. Okay, speed did immediately get. I mean, 3rd, 4th rounder. It's not terrible. And then for the Mikes, we have Cologne, 2nd, 3rd rounder, and a 1st, 2nd on Castanda. Man, Cologne, though, that speed. 4.45. Bench press is good. Vert's good. 3-cone, 20-yard shuttle is good. What makes this guy better? The letter grades are better. Advantage. Athletically speaking, also very good. 2nd fastest linebacker. But those are actually pretty insane letter grades. A awareness, B block shed, A finesse, A. I mean, again, it's relative to the position. But like B man, B play rec, B power move, B pursuit, B zone, B tackle. Elias versus Cologne, who's, you know, got some C's in there. Does have A man, A zone, which I do tend to like with that speed. This guy shows good discipline. Castenda, I don't know about his discipline. Or there's a word I can get 2 linebackers in that corner. You know what I'm saying? You think? I feel like that's like my best path for it. Let's go Cologne here. 76 at 32. Get our dev trait. 91 speed acceleration. That guy is going to be crazy. I can see him being like a superstar. Now, the luxury being in year 5 is I can realistically offer for the first pick of the 2nd round what would be an expensive get, but maybe, you know, you got to pay for that. That's what we did. So I have 2 picks here in the 2nd round, and what we're going to do with these picks is we're going to go grab Mr. Castaneda. Looks very good at linebacker. 47 in true value at 34. We get the dev trait, not quite the athlete, but much better letter grades. And then we'll just keep it here live. Let's clear the board. Let's grab that corner. I can't remember his name, but he went to Memphis. Hopefully he's still there. If not, we'll let the blind pick a corner, but that won't be the worst thing you have to do. We know what we like at DB. Mr. What was his name? Mr. Memphis. DeMarcus Dobson. Come on down. Like, this guy's going to be a top 10 player in the class. Number 5. Yep. As a dev trade. Yep. Cool. Why? And it's not the first time we found this, like, day 3 pick corner that is insanely good. I don't know. Always check your corners. Even if you don't need corners, if this guy's out there, you could probably get him 3rd, 4th round every year and, like, you know, at worst, trade piece. So take a look. At our draft recap, we get Cologne 73 dev trade, Castaneda 74 dev trade, and then Dobson 80. Now, I'm actually, 81 was the 5th best player. That is disgusting. That was such an obvious pick. I wish maybe more work had to go in to determine how good that was. Holy shit. What a class. And a generational quarterback out of Ohio State. We got a big-time D tackle that went 3rd, a guard, but look at that. Pierre Hudson, Oklahoma State. Vikings get Adrian Peterson 2.0, 6'1", 234. Like, that's the kind of guy I need to draft in, like a main franchise. Like, I need one of those guys to follow UDFA in our Yetis franchise. God damn. So here we go as defending Super Bowl champions. Offensively, we're running back the exact same offense that is, on paper, probably one of the best offenses we've ever had, especially even the fact that, like, Mahomes is a 90s, regressed a little bit. He's still Mahomes. We know it's Mahomes. You know, bring in Jeremiyah Love. Gamble at Xavier Worthy, we become that guy. Maybe we're paying Rashee Rice. We have a Travis Kelce successor. We were aggressive when Ryan Williams shockingly fell to the 2nd round. We got Seaton, superstar out the box, was able to navigate the salary cap situation to get Humphrey and Trey Smith and keep them in the building. Drafted and was aggressive and going to get a top 5 scouted guard who ends up being a superstar. Then on the defensive side of the ball, there was a moment, man, where Chris Jones wasn't justifying his payday. We could have been salty, could have been pissed off, let him walk. Said he's been incredible. D-line's been solid. I'd say maybe the pass rush in general has probably been the biggest knock here against this team. But, you know, we've done our job. That is, you know, we're not going to complain about having an 85 and an 87 pass rush. The linebacking core looks great. I mean, we got a couple more swings here. Cologne, Castaneda, Dobson with dev trades. So let's keep on keeping on. Let's get a couple more superstars. How about all of them be X factors? And then we can just laugh at how perfect this freaking rebuild was. Just a quick mid-season update here. We don't have to worry about contracts or anything like that. We are 6-1. We are beating the brakes off our opponents. It's like, oh, weekly award winner? Who's that? Chris Jones? Patrick Mahomes? Xavier Worthy? Jeremiyah Love? No, it's like even the rentals. We bring in the mercenary Trey Hendrickson, hat trick of sacks. And what better time than year 5 to put up our best performance? We go 13-4. We win our division for the 3rd time in a row, 3rd time in this rebuild. We get our first 1 seed, and there might be an argument. Look at those ratings. Look at our team ratings across the board that this might be our best rebuild team that we have built yet. Jeremiyah Love leads the league in rushing. Mahomes 5th in yards, 1st in touchdowns. Still not the 50 bombs that I've seen from outside, not doing Chiefs rebuilds, but I'll take 47 given this year he's been in the 30s. This might be our only year actually in the 40s. Maybe year 2 we hit 40, I can't remember. But Jeremiyah Love crushed it. Xavier Worthy, incredible. Ryan Williams, incredible. Eli Stowers, incredible. Almost 3,000 yard receivers, but 3 double-digit touchdown getters is incredible. Defensively, Leo Chenal was a tackle machine. Nick Bolton was incredible as well. 145 tackles, 11 TFL, 7.5 sacks, 4 picks. We got 14.5 from Hendrickson, the mercenary. 12.5 Chris Jones, 10.5 Karlaftis, 7 from Morales. Bolton, Hicks, look at the picks, look at the turnovers. Good and bad news. Let's look at the dev traits here, because I want to glow. It could have been better. Could have been better. Could have been worse. So, the could have been worse. Castaneda is an X factor. Another one to add to the all-time hit list. I don't know what Cologne's dev trait is. Dobson, who I thought was going to be just a star, but I mean, getting a 81 rated day 3 pick, that's good enough. But we get in draft our first straight-up superstar X factor of the rebuild. We're crushing it. Absolute blueprint on how to rebuild. Actually, well, you know what? I say that also. I say that, and I think it makes sense. This team is a super team. But also, you know, Castaneda felt pretty good. But that was probably our best pick, our most impressive, because like Morales, who drafted a superstar, that was such an obvious selection. Dobson, who we drafted, was such an obvious selection. Like, you know, you'd have to be trying not to get the best player available. We scouted Weston. We needed a guard. Found there's a top 5 guard. We were aggressive in going to get him. We got very lucky that, like, Seaton in the generated class was a superstar. We got very lucky that Ryan Williams, for some reason, fell out of the first round. Jeremiyah Love was always going to be good. You know what I'm saying? So, like, there was some good fortune here. But I still think at the end of the day, across the board, damn, man, what a rebuild. Wish they were all like this. But if they were, you wouldn't appreciate the times that it is like this. Well, we get our MVP for Patrick Mahomes. Maybe the only thing that was missing in this rebuild. Outside of that, for awards, Nick Bolton wins Defensive Player of the Year, as well as Linebacker of the Year. We get Quarterback of the Year going to Patrick Mahomes, and we get Running Back of the Year going to Jeremiyah Love. Now, he's always like to do at the end of a rebuild. We'll do it right now before our playoff round. Look at the players' stats and what they've been able to accomplish in a rebuild. And Patrick Mahomes, just under 54,000 yards passing, 425 touchdowns, just over 100 interceptions. Yeah, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Probably, there's a chance when all is said and done, could be regarded as the GOAT. I think right now, though, it's probably more realistic to say, like, he might be in that Peyton Manning level, where, like, you're not Tom Brady, but you're certainly, have the argument to be the number 2 quarterback of all time. You never know, though. Maybe there's a second wind of Chief Dynasty that picks up the pace here, because, again, we're only rebuilding the Chiefs right now because their season is pretty much over and they're going to miss the playoffs. I say that maybe jinxing it, putting a jinx out in the world, and they're going to win out and somehow make the playoffs and win the Super Bowl. No one wants to see that. For the rest of it, I mean, look, even he needs decent scrambling numbers there for Patrick Mahomes. We get 5,500 yards, 65 touchdowns for Jeremiyah Love, who was the perfect draft pick, the perfect missing piece to this offense. Receiving 60, we'll round that up to 6,500 yards, 73 touchdowns for the fastest man in the NFL in combine history. Stowers was solid. Ryan Williams was very solid. Defensively, we got over 1,000 tackles from Nick Bolton. Defensive Player of the Year award as well. 136 sacks for Chris Jones. We got 67 from George Karlaftis. Interception numbers weren't great in this rebuild, but we're fit, we're reasonable, we're solid. I don't think there's a better matchup for us, honestly. The asterisk in last year's Super Bowl run came when I had to almost, piggyback our team to beat Denver in the Wildcard round. This time, this is for reals. Where are we at? Can we beat the Broncos in the sim? Or is Denver going to know they got screwed over last year, and in the snow, they're about to run wild over the Kansas City Chiefs? I just think with how well this team is, I don't know if I could make a better team in a rebuild. This might be the ceiling of how good of within a 5-year period, you can rebuild a team. So if we can't win a Super Bowl off that with the MVP as well, vibes won't be great. Like, if I know that it doesn't really matter, if I can't have a super team, Chiefs team, and win, what makes me feel that I can, rebuild the Saints and make a super team and win the Super Bowl? But there we go. Sweat-free. Avenge the asterisk from a year ago. 28-7. The Chiefs roll, and we're back in the AFC Championship game with a great, dominating 4-touchdown performance from Patrick Mahomes. More history. We get the Tennessee Titans, who in year 3 beat us in the AFC Championship game. Honestly, a loss that I still can't understand. But this time around, I know for a fact, I think we may have had teams that are like 94 overall. I don't think we've ever had a 97 overall offense. Let's flex our muscles here a little bit and get back to the Super Bowl. We are the home team. I feel like we played the Titans on the road the last time. Maybe, maybe not. They beat us. This is our chance of revenge. Oh my God, come on. 97 rated offense with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid calling the plays. That's all we need to think about when our offense goes 3-0. 14-14 ball game. I'd like to think push comes to shove. I mean, even our defense in comparison to the Titans defense is so much better that letting them get into the 20s would be very disappointing. But a very much playing up to our level. 35 points scored by our 97 overall offense, and the Chiefs are AFC champions yet again. And on the back of 8 touchdowns in 2 games. And this Calvin Roberts guy, Titans decide to move off of Cam Ward. Back to the drawing board. We get the new super team. Team that's almost always in the Super Bowl for some reason. We have the 14-3 New York Giants. Well-built team, 88s across the board. Pretty good, pretty green ratings. Not better than our green ratings. Let's book it. I don't need the pageantry. We saw the pageantry a year ago. We got the win. This time, it is personal. I think we should hop in at some point, too. I got to experience this 97 rated offense a little bit more than what we've had. We got to enjoy what we've been able to build and appreciate how freaking hard it is. We've had some damn good offenses. Nothing. 97. You can't even do that if you had, a fantasy draft and you pick your first 5 picks were all offense. Look at that. All right. Sweet. Quick little, all right. How you covering 99 speed with Patrick Mahomes? Just, okay. Tied game. Everything to play for the second half. All righty. No. 97 offense, we had 10 points. 97 offense, 10 points. And I know the Giants don't have Brian Burns. That's not like the perfect team. They lost him in free agency. Holy fuck. That is brutal. Well, in closing, what design choice for Madden Sim? What happened to make the Giants the new super team? Like that, I think we can all take our tinfoil hat. I don't think that was the Madden Cowboy ratings guy that made that call. Huh. At least we got a new enemy. Fuck the Giants. Super annoying that they're always like the best team now in franchise rebuilds. As for now, we have won a Super Bowl, so this Chiefs Madden 26 realistic rebuild will go down as a successful one. As far as drafting, as far as building a team, this may be the new pinnacle, the new placeholder of every other good team we build on from here on out. Just terrifying. Terrifyingly good. Shocked that we could not win 2 straight Super Bowls. But at the end of the day, a dub's a dub. And I appreciate how freaking crazy this team is. Pretty badass. So yeah, that'll do it for today's rebuild, fellas. If it is your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button, smash the like button if you enjoyed. Let me know in the comment section below what teams you want to see rebuilt next. Still have a bunch of teams. We're doing all 32, and then we're going to revisit the rebuilds that did not end up in Super Bowl wins and try to fix that. But now, I mean, we still got some cupcake teams that we got to rebuild. I've seen a lot of Viking fans want to rebuild. We have the Saints. We have the Panthers. I mean, the Panthers are doing decent this year, but that's a challenging rebuild. But I also think, like, we're going to have situations like Kansas City. We're going to have Cincinnati would be another one. Like, the good teams that you don't really think you need to rebuild, but their seasons are kind of over, so I think it might be more topical. You know, the Cincinnatis of the world. You could look at Tampa Bay. Could be interesting. They're in a weird spot right now. So, I mean, there's other ones, but let me know in the comment section below. Just please don't suggest teams that already have been rebuilt. But yeah, that'll do for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, it's your boy C4. Peace, I love you. Have a good one.